On March 27, 2004, Richard Lancelyn Green, the world's foremost expert on Sherlock Holmes, was found dead in his home. Garroted with a simple shoelace, surrounded by his beloved books and stuffed toys, with a half-empty bottle of gin at his side. Suicide? Or a murder staged to perfection? This is the story of a man whose life was to deduction and logic, until reality twisted into something far more sinister. Welcome to Mysterious Circumstances.
Join us as we pull back the veil to reveal the truth hidden beneath reality. Veil of Reality.
Richard Gordon Lancelyn Green was born on July 10, 1953, the youngest of 3 children in a family steeped in literary legend. His father, Roger Lancelyn Green, was a renowned children's author who brought the myths of Homer and King Arthur to life, and a close friend of Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. But Richard's world was one of shadows and stories. Blinded in one eye by a childhood accident, he was a shy boy with a cherubic face, ironic smile, and a mind like a steel trap, precise, logical, unyielding. At just 11 years old, he discovered Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes stories. He devoured them, cover to cover, then started again. By 13, Richard had transformed the haunted attic of Polton Hall, the Martyr's Chamber, into a perfect replica of Holmes and Watson's 221B Baker Street. He recorded sounds of Victorian London, horse hooves, gas lamps flickering, to immerse visitors. It was more than play. It was the birth of an obsession. Richard graduated from Oxford in 1975, but Holmes never left him. He joined the Sherlock Holmes Society of London as its youngest member, diving into the game, the playful pretense that Holmes was real and Watson's tales mere chronicles. It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Sherlock Holmes, born in 1887's A Study in Scarlet, was Conan Doyle's gift to the world, a consulting detective armed with razor-sharp deduction, embodying Victorian faith in science and reason. But Holmes outlived Doyle, spawning a cult, journals, walking tours, over 260 films in America. The Baker Street Irregulars, gathered since 1934, welcomed Richard, who earned the moniker the Three Gables. He became a scholar, co-authoring a 712-page bibliography of Doyle's works in 1983. His home overflowing with 40,000 books, rare items included. Richard pilgrimaged to Reichenbach Falls, where Holmes died in 1893's The Final Problem. Doyle had scrawled, "Killed Holmes," in his diary that day. For decades, a treasure trove haunted scholars. Arthur Conan Doyle's personal papers, letters, diaries,
manuscripts worth nearly $4 million. Heirs like Playboy sons Dennis and Adrian schemed. Adrian hid them in a Swiss castle, then sold scraps before dying of a heart attack in 1970. Richard hunted for 20 years. His trail led to Dame Jean Conan Doyle, the author's youngest daughter, elegant, silver-haired RAF veteran, honored as a dame in 1963. But when Jean died in 1997, the papers vanished. Until March 2004, when the Sunday Times revealed they were surfacing at Christie's auction house. Richard inspected them, recognizing items from Jean's stash. Outraged, Richard cried, "Theft!" Dame Jean's will was clear. "I give to the British Library all my late father's original papers." He rallied the Sherlockians, the Society, irregulars, even American allies, petitioning Parliament. Media erupted, and a mystery as tantalizing as any at 22B. As the auction loomed, Richard's world began to unravel. He sent his sister a cryptic note with 3 phone numbers. "Please keep these numbers safe." To a Times journalist, he warned, "Something might happen to me." At dinner with his friend, Lawrence Keene, Richard confessed, "An American is trying to bring me down." That night, Priscilla's calls went unanswered. By morning, there was only silence. His doctor reported no depression or medication, yet on his computer, he typed in desperation, "Stick to the facts." He accused friends of conspiracy, called Doyle a plagiarist, and lamented, "I've wasted my life." His rival, an ex-Pentagon operative, a Baker Street irregular, "He did everything to injure me," Richard said. The American denied it all, claiming he was on a Jack the Ripper tour. But to Richard, he was Moriarty incarnate. Saturday, March 27. When Priscilla couldn't reach Richard, she called the police, fearing the worst. Police broke down the door. A cold stillness filled the flat, as if death itself lingered within. Inside lay Richard, 50 years old, garroted with a black shoelace, a wooden spoon beside his hand, a half-empty gin bottle nearby. His room filled with books, Holmes posters, and stuffed toys. No forced entry, no theft. His priceless collection, worth millions, remained untouched. An American accented voice on his answering machine unsettled everyone. Richard's own message had been erased. His friend John Gibson said, quote, "I spoke to him just hours before. He told me, quote, 'I fear for my life.' Yet police never questioned him." Complete and utter mystery, John Gibson. The inquest gripped London. Sir Colin Berry, a forensic legend, testified. In 30 years, only one garroting suicide, and even that was nearly impossible. A shoelace, no fingerprints, no signs of autoerotic play, and Priscilla confirmed He was not depressed. The coroner, who once mock-tried a Doyle locked room mystery, noted the anomalies, but found no proof. The verdict, open: suicide or murder. Police assumed suicide, closed the case, but tabloids screamed, "The curse of Conan Doyle strikes again." Among Sherlockians, whispers spread, a haunting idea of the supernatural, a death that killed itself. Theories split like Holmes's own mysteries. Two paths, both shrouded in fog: murder or suicide. Gibson said, "Plenty of clues, not many answers." Owen Edwards believed the evidence points to murder. He knew too much, the biggest obstacle to the sale. Garroted like a pro, Moriarty style. Gin after wine? No note. Brother Cyrod, entirely possible. A trusted visitor relocked the door. Others believed he staged it all, echoing Doyle's The Problem of Thorbridge. A spoon as tool, false trails like The American, and the eerie machine message. A mystery built by Richard himself. Priscilla said, "Unlike detective stories, we live without answers." Richard's fury at Doyle's spiritualism, deluding himself with ectoplasm, perhaps turned inward. The auction went ahead on May 19th. Some items were bought back for the British Library, but the full truth still elusive. Richard's collection. 12 truckloads arrived in Portsmouth, where Doyle wrote his first Holmes story. For scholars, not for greed. At his memorial on Conan Doyle's birthday, friends quoted the master, "I caught a glimpse of a great heart as well as a great brain." Another friend quoted, "He appears to have a passion for definite and exact knowledge." Owen Edwards said, "Richard became the greatest of us all." Gibson's plea echoed Holmes himself, "When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth." But the question still lingers. Was it suicide, a cry from a broken fanatic, or murder, silenced by those guarding secrets worth millions? The game, as they say in Sherlockiana, is afoot, but the final deduction is yours. Presented by Veil of Reality, sources cited. Subscribe for more true mysteries. What do you think? Suicide or murder? Comment below.